Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, you know that big, kind of intimidating student handbook for the MYP Community Project? Well, we're going to forget about that for a bit. My goal here is to break it all down and turn it into a clear, simple, and honestly, an exciting roadmap. So let's get your mission started. But first, let's just start with the biggest question of all, the one that this whole thing is really about. How are you going to make a difference? Just think about that for a second. In your school, your neighborhood, maybe even somewhere bigger. Well, the community project, this is your chance. It's not just another assignment to check off a list. It's a real opportunity for you to find something you actually care about and do something that matters.
So let's reframe this right now. This is not just a project. We're going to treat it like a mission. Your mission.
Okay, so what is it officially? The handbook uses some pretty big words like sustained, self-directed inquiry. But what does that actually mean? It's simple, really. It means you get to find a need out there in a community you care about, look into it, and then you do something to help. You're in the driver's seat for this one. See, we can boil this whole thing down. Seriously, forget all the complicated pages for a minute. Your entire mission comes down to just these three things. The process, that's your journey. The action, that's the impact you make. And the presentation, that's where you get to share your story. That's it. It's that straightforward. All right, let's dive into that first part, the process. Every great mission needs a map, right? Well, yours is a 4-step adventure. This is the path you're going to follow from that first spark of an idea all the way to making an impact. And here they are, your 4 steps. This is the official project cycle: investigating, planning, taking action, and reflecting. And it's called a cycle for a reason, you know? What you learn in one step totally flows into the next. And what you learn at the very end, that might just spark a whole new adventure. First up, step 1, investigating. This is where you actually find your mission. And believe it or not, the best way to start is with a really simple but super powerful formula. So, the formula begins with you. First, what do you love doing? What are your interests? Is it gaming? Art? Maybe you're really into the environment or sports. Then, what's a need you see out there? A problem at school, in your town, or hey, even at your online communities. You put those 2 things together and boom, you get a fantastic project goal. This is the secret sauce. When you mix something you're actually passionate about with a real need in the world, you get a project that you'll be genuinely excited to work on. So, once you've got your goal, it's time for step 2, planning. If your project is the adventure, then your plan, well, that's the map that's going to guide you. This is how you turn a big, cool idea into small, totally achievable steps. And hey, look, a plan does not need to be some scary, complicated thing. A simple chart, just like this one, is perfect. All you need are 3 columns. What do I need to do? When am I going to get it done? And who's doing it? When you break it down like this, any big goal feels so much more manageable. Okay, you've done your research, you've drawn your map. Now for the really exciting part. Step 3, taking action. This is it. It's time to get out there and actually make your impact. And I want you to remember this. This quote comes straight from the handbook, and it's the heart of everything. Every single thing you do in this step, no matter how big or small it feels, it's all about making a positive difference. This is your why. Now, while you're taking action, you also get to be a bit of a storyteller. You need to gather evidence of your journey. Snap some photos or videos, maybe get a few quotes from people you helped, jot down your own thoughts. This isn't just for a grade. This is the stuff you're going to use to tell your amazing story later on. And that brings us to the final step in our cycle, step 4, reflecting. This is so much more than just looking back at what you did. It's about figuring out what you learned and how this whole experience actually changed you. This is where the real growth happens. So, now that we've mapped out the whole adventure, let's talk about the gear you'll need. Think of this as your essential project toolkit, everything you need to succeed on your mission. Okay, your number 1 tool, without a doubt, is the process journal. And it's super important to understand what it is and what it is not. It is a living, breathing record of your journey. It's for your messy brainstorms, your plans, your reflections. It is not a perfect, neat diary that you write after everything is over. Seriously, think of it like your project's scrapbook. It's meant to show the real work in progress. Your next key resource is your supervisor. And try not to think of them as just a teacher, but more like your guide for this mission. They're here to help you navigate, to give you feedback when you need it, and yeah, to keep you on track. They're totally on your team. And of course, for that partnership to really work, your guide has some expectations for you too. It's pretty simple stuff. Ask for help when you're stuck, keep them in the loop, and hit your deadlines. It's a two-way street, and when you're engaged, their guidance becomes so much more helpful. Okay, you've completed your 4-step adventure. You've used your toolkit like a pro. We've made it to the final stage of the mission, sharing your story and your impact with everyone. And for your presentation, I want you to just remember one number: 4. Why 4? Because you need to tell the story of all 4 steps of your adventure: investigating, planning, taking action, and reflecting. Don't just show off the final result. You've got to take your audience on the whole journey with you. Because really, that's what this is all about. Your presentation isn't a test, it's a celebration. It's your chance to stand up and share the story of what you cared about, what you did, and what you learned. And that brings us to the end of this explainer. But honestly, it's really a new beginning, because the community project was never just about finishing one thing. It's about showing you that you have the power to make a real difference. So with that in mind, the real question isn't what did you do, it's what will you change next?